Hello students, in previous lecture we have to learn about the classification of matter according to its chemical composition. Now see, do you know water is a compound? Pure water is a compound formed by chemical combination of the element hydrogen and oxygen. We know that molecular formula of water is H2O, means here two hydrogen atom combined with one oxygen atom. Whatever may be the source of water, the proportion of its constituent elements oxygen and hydrogen by weight is always 8.1. So by weight oxygen is more heavier than hydrogen. Therefore when you weigh both the atoms within water molecule oxygen and hydrogen by ratio is 8:1. Hydrogen is an inflammable gas while oxygen gas supports combustion. Inflammable means what? Easily catches fire, and combustion means what? It helps in burning of fire. However, the compound water formed by chemical combination of the gaseous elements hydrogen and oxygen is a liquid. It is neither inflammable nor does it support combustion. On the contrary, it helps to extinguish fire. Means what? Extinguish fire means what? It remove or diminish the fire. Now see the next example, that is milk. It is a mixture. Milk is a mixture of water, lactose, fats, protein and a few more natural substances. The proportion of various ingredients of milk is different as per its source. Means when you compare that cow's milk, goat's milk or buffalo's milk, all the proportion within the milk are not same. They are different. Understood? Now see, the proportion of fat in cow's milk is 3 to 5%, while it is 6 to 9% in buffalo milk. The ingredient water is naturally present in large proportion in milk. That's why milk is fluid. Therefore, milk exists in a liquid state. The sweetness of milk is due to the ingredients called lactose. Lactose means what? It is like a sugar. And due to that sugar, that sweetness of milk is coming. In other words, the properties of the constituent substances are retained. Means they are not changed. It is same in milk. Now, let us see the types of elements. See here, one activity is given. Try this. Take the following object, that is iron nail or sheet, copper wire, aluminium wire, a piece of coal. Rub each object on a fresh surface of a sandpaper and observe. Hammer each object with force. You should take care not to hurt yourself and record your observations in the following table. Now see the table. Okay. In first column object is given. Second one is the surface shining. You should write there yes or no. And the third column is does the shape flatten, break into small pieces on hammering on that object. So here first three, that iron nail, copper wire and aluminium wire, they are metals. So their surfaces are shining. So you should write in that column first three, that yes, that iron nail has shining surface, copper wire has shining surface and aluminium wire has shining surface. Now see, what about that coal? Coal, it is non-metal, so it will not shine. So you should write there no. See the next column. Does the shape flatten, break into small pieces on hammering? See, the first three examples, that iron nail, copper wire and aluminium, they are flattened because they are metal and they have property of malleability. And that coal piece is non-metal and it does not have property of a malleability. So it is break into small pieces if we hammer it. Now see, the objects in the above activity are made up of elements like iron, copper, aluminium and carbon respectively. Fill the following table on the basis of the observation obtained on doing the above two tests on each of the objects. So elements having a shiny surface, which are they? That iron nail, copper wire and aluminium wire, that is metals. Elements that flatten on hammering, iron nail, copper wire and aluminium wire, that is metal. And elements with dull surface, coal piece, non-metal. And element that break down on hammering, it is also non-metal. Now you notice that element has different physical properties like luster. Luster means what? It is ability to element shine. Or paleness. Paleness means what? That ability to does not shine. Malleability means it is, when we hammer it, it is flattened and converted into thin sheet. And brittleness, it should be break down into small pieces. According to that, elements are classified into mainly how many types? 3 types. Which are they? That is, elements are classified into 3 types, that is metals, non-metals and metallized. Now let us see first metal. We know about these. See the some examples of metals, that gold, silver, copper, etc. Now metals have peculiar characteristics. Which are they? See, they have shine, they are hard, melting and boiling point is high, and they are malleable, means it when we hammer it, it is converted into thin sheet. They are ductile, when we hammer it, it is converted into thin wire. And they are sonorous, means they produce sound. Now see the next type, that is non-metal. That non-metal's property are exactly opposite to the metal. So they are brittle, soft, their melting and boiling points are low. Example is carbon and nitrogen. And the third one is metalloids. So they show that metalloids show combined characteristics of metals and non-metals. Example of metalloids are silicon and germanium. So the detailed study of this type of elements we will be made in our next chapter. Okay. Now see the types of compounds. In our textbook, one experiment is given. Let us see. Apparatus. See which kind of apparatus we need for this experiment. Evaporating dish, that is shown in figure 6.4, experimental figure. Tripod stand and burner. Chemicals, camphor, washing soda, blue vitriol, sugar, glucose and urea. These are the substances we require for this experiment. Now see the experiment. Keep the evaporating dish on the tripod stand. Those are shown in figure 6.4. Take some camphor in an evaporating dish. Heat the camphor in the dish strongly with the help of burner. Find out what remains behind the evaporating dish. After heating, you should find out that if anything is remain in that dish, then check it out. Okay. Repeat the above procedure using limestone, washing soda, blue vitriol, sugar, glucose and urea instead of camphor. Record your observation in the following table. Now see the table. There are 3 columns include powder in the evaporating dish. Which powder we have to first take on? That one, camphor. When we heat that camphor, then see there was residue or no residue in the evaporating dish. When we heat the camphor, then that we will see there is no residue present in that evaporating dish because that camphor is totally burned. Okay, so color of the residue, here you should make a dash. Now see the next one, limestone. It is called that calcium carbonate. So when we heat that limestone, then after heating we should see that one residue is left behind in that evaporating dish. It is white colored residue. Okay, now see. So you saw in the above activity that on heating strongly some compounds give residue while other do not give any residue or give a blackish residue. The black residue is mainly made up of carbon. Moreover, when such compounds are strongly heated in air combined with oxygen to form some gaseous substances like a camphor. And in case their combustion is not complete, black colored carbon remains behind as a residue. Now see there are mainly three types of compounds. First one is organic compound, next one that inorganic compound, and the third type is complex compound. Let us see one by one. First one is organic compound. Organic compound means what? The substances which we obtain or get directly or indirectly from plants and animals. Organic compounds, when organic compounds completely burn, that gases are left, and when it is that incompletely burn, then carbon residue is left behind. Example of these organic compounds are carbohydrates, proteins. Okay, now see the next one, inorganic compounds or substances. It is originated from surface other than sources other than plants or animals. That sources, it is normally called minerals, means inorganic substances we get it from minerals. When we burn it, that left portion is remaining and that one called residue. For example, salt. When we burn that salt, we have to see that white colored residue is left behind. Now see the third types of compound, it is complex compound. So these complex compounds are formed by chemical reaction between a variety of atoms, and it contains metal at its central structure. So the molecules of compounds have a complex structure formed by many atoms, and in the center of this structure metal atoms are also included. For example, that chlorophyll, it contains magnesium. Okay, then hemoglobin, that is present in our RBCs, it contains iron. And then cyanocobalamin, that is vitamin B12, and it contains cobalt. So these are the some examples of complex compound. Okay, now remaining part of the lesson we will discuss in our next lecture. Thank you.